Welcome to the Transmission Coaching Podcast, powered by ATRA. Today's podcast is sponsored by Gears Magazine, your magazine for the automatic transmission rebuilding industry. Be sure to get into Gears. Get your free subscription at gearsmagazine.com. Click on subscribe. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the Coaching Podcast. And now here's your host, Coach Lance Wiggins.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to the Transmission Coaching Podcast. This is a What's Working edition. It's a great day to fix transmission, so let's get started. I'm your host, Lance Wiggins, CEO of ATRA. With us, our guest is Ed Doyle, owner and operator of A+1 Transmission Specialist in Kerrville, Texas. Ed served as president and treasurer of the ATRA board for over 17 years, sometimes both. His leadership has helped guide our industry at the national level, always focused on equality, professionalism, and unity among the transmission shops across North America. Ed, welcome to the Transmission Coaching Podcast.
Well, Lance, thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here. As always, I have a passion for ATRA. It has been my life for in excess of 40 years as a member. And then, as you mentioned, I served on the board for over 17 years, and it was a pleasure as well. So thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of, let's just dive right into this. So you've been in the industry for decades. You've worn just about every hat, I believe: shop owner, technician, mentor, ATRA board member. What keeps you passionate about the trade after all these years?
Well, you know, that's a fair question.
That's not a loaded question, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? It's always been my belief that we're on the face of this earth to help others. And so when you say what keeps my passion thriving or alive or keeps pushing me, it's that point right there of helping others. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
The golden rule.
The golden rule, absolutely. As a matter of fact, that happens to be back in the day, that was the logo or slogan of ATRA, golden rule. That's how we developed at ATRA the warranty program. Mm-hmm. And so that's a good thing to live by.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And it still is. It still is the golden rule, right? We still talk about that. I think that the tempo of the golden rule, as far as the understanding of what it is, has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, with the introduction to different types of warranty programs, other reman programs, diagnostic guys doing transmissions, you know, so there's a little bit of, you know, the guys that are on the mains, like the 10s, the 5s, the corridors, right?
Right.
It serves them well.
Absolutely.
The ones that are up in, you know, smaller towns, USA, that are off the beaten path, it might not serve them as well as it would, but still having that peace of mind is really the key, isn't it?
Absolutely. And keeping in mind that peace of mind is backed not only by an international trade association, but it's also backed by its members of in excess of 2,000 shops nationwide.
Yep. So in your timeline with A+1, and when did you open up? When did you become the owner operator of A+1 Transmission Specialist?
That was August of 1978.
Okay, 90s. I just turned 8, so that was cool. So over that time, you know, you've seen the transmission industry evolve from the mechanical era to the electronic era, right? Even EVTs or CVTs, EVs, et cetera. In your opinion, in your shop, what's changed the most, or maybe what's stayed the same?
Okay. I think what's changed the most would be the cost of the repairs. Mm-hmm. You know, and I say that because in 1978, I could take a job in at my shop, and for $229.95, you could get a complete rebuilt transmission, and that included R&R on a conventional two-wheel drive vehicle. Today, that conventional two-wheel drive vehicle rebuild R&R is average about $6,000.
I was gonna say that $220 might be like 1 hour of labor now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So I think that what hasn't changed is the need for continuing education. We have to stay trained. We have to be on top of everything coming down the pipe that is new, and the education is paramount. And I really believe this, and being able to serve your customer and do a quality job. At that particular stage of the game, then price doesn't matter, because if you can do a quality job and your customer can drive off with a feeling knowing that not only do they have a nationwide warranty, but they have a quality job, that they don't have to be concerned about there being a problem a week down the road, 6 months down the road, because some hack got a hold of it and claimed they could do something cheaper. And at the end of the day, we were out on a limb because we didn't do the job right. And so it's all about education.
Yeah. And you know, I've said this before multiple times. I would much rather have my doctor graduate from their college at an A+ than a C-, right?
Oh, absolutely. And keep in mind, at the end of the day, that doctor that graduated last in his class,
yeah,
his title is still doctor.
Yeah, well, that's the key. You know, that's the key, isn't it? You know, he might be working at a clinica instead of the
Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, instead of the Mayo Clinic. Yeah, might be different, right? Might be different. In your time with the board, how has that shaped your business today?
That was a real learning experience. I was kind of caught off guard when I was asked to be a part of the board of directors, and it was a privilege to think that I would even be thought of in that fashion back in the day.
And who was it Jim Shine was the board member before?
Jim Shine was the board member, and I replaced Jim Shine from Houston.
Okay.
But like I said, it was an honor. I got the opportunity not only to meet other shop owners that were board of directors at that time, a lot of very sharp people, a lot of good ideas. The association, ATRA, had a lot of had a lot of smart people in it, let's put it that way, that had some good ideas. And with all those moving pieces in ATRA, I got to see how what I considered big business operated. Mm-hmm. I mean, how you could manage all these different elements
Entities,
at one time.
Right.
Exactly. And being able to associate myself with those people, the board of directors, the management portion of ATRA, along with the tech department of ATRA, the management classes that ATRA offered, mm-hmm. The tech classes that they offered. I mean, this is something that has grown from practically out of nothing to become what it is today.
And what do you think you could just if there was one thing that you can share with shop owners out there about being on the board, why it's important to have and be part of it, maybe not just the board of directors, but be part of a chapter that's in your area, be part of a group, right? What I mean, there's something to be said about that, because we've had conversations about this for many years, and even recently. Why a chapter? Why be on a chapter? And for me, it's a team, right? For me, I look at a chapter like it's just another baseball. It's the Philadelphia Phillies. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's the Dallas Cowboys. It's the Houston Texans. That's the way I think of it in my world. My head is like, you know, if I've got a chapter that's, you know, in Houston, or a chapter that's in Dallas, those are two different teams doing two different things for each other, but still still a common goal, right? So
Exactly.
being a chapter president, as you were, and also on the board, is there any one thing that you could share with other shop owners that might entice them to be part of something bigger?
Yeah, maybe. What I saw was the opportunity to be able to gather people together for a common goal. And shop owners have to understand that chapter affiliation does not have to be work. It can be more of a social gathering that brings people together to where they can brainstorm in open conversation. And they actually learn a lot from other people. And that's how ATRA was started and formed, was a group of guys getting together and just sharing information.
Yeah.
And if shop owners would understand that we're here to share information to make this industry better.
Bigger, better, stronger.
Yep. all of those words.
Yep.
And if they understand that it's not about them, it's about the industry. And that's the way I look at it. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's not about ATRA. It's about the industry. It's the industry we chose as our career. And now we need to take advantage of it, and we need to promote it in any fashion that we can. And starting with a chapter is a good way to promote it. You can get involved. And from that, you can grow. And I know a lot of chapter people throughout the years, as chapters grew, as they got experience working with people, not just the people they work with at their shop, but working with people in the industry, then they became directors for ATRA, and they helped ATRA move in a positive direction.
Yeah.
And so that's what it means to a shop to get involved in a chapter.
Yeah.
Chapters require some devotion.
Sure.
And you have to be willing to understand that it's about the greater good. It's not about me. Johnny me.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you this. One of the things that we've done. So with that said, right, evolution is key, right? And so what we've done here is we've created a chapter handbook that actually spells out what the chapter can do. What the chapter can do, right? So here's all the cool things you can do. You can do poker runs. You could do donations. You could do high school things. You could sponsor a bunch of different things. You can have your own technical class. You can have your own. You can bring in other technical things if you want. ATRA can be part of it, not part of it. It's up to you as a chapter. But you mentioned, it takes devotion. One of the issues that we had a long time ago, or not too long ago, seems like only yesterday, but was a chapter would have, like yourself, you're in Kerrville and you're driving up to Dallas.
Correct.
And then so you got the cost of driving to Dallas, the hotel room, the food, etc. You're paying for all that. And
That's
then
correct.
and so whatever money that you're making, it's basically getting absorbed. Well, we removed all that. We said, look, we're gonna get you a hotel room under the ATRA umbrella. So you're just like going as a speaker, right? So we'll take care of the hotel room. We'll take care of up to 150 miles, I think, or one way. So 300 miles total of driving. And then 2 spots for your seminar. So if you wanted to bring somebody and you go for free, there's no reason why you should work the seminar and pay for it at the same time, right? So
right.
Yeah. So all these things changed to entice people to go. I could do that. Especially if they're close. Like this is just byproduct of what we've done in the past, right? But Zach Evans from the Rocky Mountain chapter, man, I understand where he's coming from. He's got a huge chapter, like it's Canada to Mexico, right? And he's in Denver, Longmont, and he says, man, if I got to go to Salt Lake City, that's 987 miles. And I'm thinking, why are you going to Salt Lake? How come you don't have somebody in Salt Lake that's part of your chapter? Then to emulate that, that's what the Midwest chapter did. So the Midwest chapter had Ron Lingenfelter, who was in Nebraska, You have, so he could do Des Moines or he can do Omaha. Jerry Jacosky was in Minneapolis, so when they did Minneapolis, Jerry would be there.
Right.
You know, they have guys in Chicago, so when they did Chicago, they can do that. So one person didn't have to do all the traveling. They were strategic in getting that, and that's really the key to having that. You mentioned camaraderie, that those shops that are in those locations that want to be part of it. It will make the chapter grow. One, it could double in size. You could even create another chapter, right? So you've got the Dallas chapter as an example. Then you've got the San Antonio chapter. And then you've got the Houston chapter. I mean, you're 300 miles or 3 hours away. Now, 3 hours away in Texas, ladies and gentlemen, is not a big deal, by the way. But you know that in order to create those events. Again, it's just like having a team, you know. I mean, to me, it's like having multiple teams that are part of a big picture. Like, you got the MLB or the NFL or the NHL or the NBA, but you have all these little teams that are in these other areas. You're all playing the same game.
Exactly.
Right? We're all doing the same thing. We're trying to better the industry. So you've been a strong advocate for labor rates, professionalism in the transmission industry. I've been to your shop a few different times. Why do you think it's taken so long for our trade to recognize its own worth?
Well, I believe that the shop owners are actually mechanics. They're not businessmen. And so businessmen, they know how to run a business. Mechanics, they know how to fix mechanical things. And so shop owners have to learn to become a businessman and to set the value of the products and services that they offer based on their cost of operation, not based on the competition down the street. That can lead them in the wrong direction, and that can set them up for failure. You have a quality product, which is a service you provide to your customers. You have to have a labor rate that will pay your expenses, that will encourage young people or technicians young people that want to be technicians to come into this industry because they can make good money. But if you're not going to charge enough labor for the services that you render, you cannot pay your employees enough money to make them successful. And as a shop owner, as a businessman, if your goal is not to make your employees successful, then you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So the labor rate, and if you look at labor rates, and this has been going on forever and ever across the country. Well, Joe is getting so much per hour. Well, John down here is getting an extra $50 an hour. How come people pay him an extra $50 an hour?
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid to go up on my price because I may lose a customer. Well, wait a minute. How about we qualify that customer?
That's another. We're going to get into that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
That's some customers you don't need.
Exactly.
Right. You want every customer, but there's some customers that you don't
Right.
need. I get that part.
Well, like I say, there's a difference between being a mechanic and being a businessman. And so shop owners, even though they're a mechanic, they need to be a businessman. Run it by the numbers.
So how do you approach communicating value to customers? I mean, clearly now in today's world, Ed, we are faced with AI, we're faced with Google, we're faced with Microsoft, we're Yahoo, Bing, Firefox, if people still use that. I mean, you name it, there's a ton of internet searches out there. We're faced with the internet technician, Dr. Google, right? Hey, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my car? How do you go about communicating that value to the customer?
Well, what we like to share with our customers at A1 is that we're going to take the time to figure out what the corrective measures are going to be to fix your car. There's not a cookie cutter price. We're not the internet. We're the people that are going to fix your car. We're going to guarantee it. We're going to give you, at A1, we give a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. And we don't care what you do with it. We don't care if it's chipped or tuned. Well, we don't care if you've modified it. At the end of the day, we're going to build that transmission. We're going to build into that transmission what it takes to have the proper clamping properties of the clutches so it doesn't slip, so it doesn't burn up. At the end of the day, the value that we're promoting is we're promoting a fixed vehicle. And to fix the vehicle right and to pay for the training and to have technicians that are qualified to work on your vehicle, that costs money. And you have to be part of the program. You have to participate with us in that expense.
Yeah.
And when you explain it to a customer in that fashion, they say, oh, yeah, I get it. I said, so let me ask you a question. You go to the doctor says that you have XYZ wrong with you, and he's going to order up some tests. And those tests cost X number of dollars.
Yeah.
You don't argue about the diagnostic expense there. Why are you giving me a hard time over diagnostic expense?
Oh, for sure. You could take that statement alone, and you could move this out to probably another 1,000 different types of things. Given another example, you're going to travel. You go to a hotel. And then you pay for parking, and then you pay for the resort taxes, and then you pay for the city taxes, and then you pay for the other taxes on the plus tax, and then you pay for some dude just to stand there and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Come on in." Here's another, and you're like, "Oh, $199 on Booking.com ended up turning to be $350 when I got there." Well, those are hidden costs.
That's right.
What you're talking about are upfront, right now costs, and this is the professionalism that you're getting.
That's right.
There's difference.
And there's a big difference, and when that is conveyed to the customer, then they don't have a problem understanding it. We have customers that question the price, and they say, well, I was on the internet, and I said, well, that's nice. Is the internet going to warranty your job when it gets through fixing it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Is the internet really going to fix your car for you?
Yeah.
Or are they just taking a average price from some demographic that you don't know where they're getting this estimate from?
Yeah, and demographics are a big thing. This is Don Stone. We spoke with him. We talked with Brandon Sloan about the same scenarios, and they both said the same thing. It depends on where you're at. Sometimes in some areas, it depends on where you're at. Some demographics, you can, like Los Angeles, Houston, Dallas, Austin, some places in San Antonio more than likely, but New York, I mean, some of your bigger cities, you want to charge whatever. I mean, you literally, as long as you fix the car, that person's probably going to pay whatever they need to pay to get
and that's correct.
Because they want it. They need it, right? You know, it's an important part of their life. Right?
Exactly. I mean, they need to get to soccer practice. They need to get to work. They need to get to church. They need to get to the grocery store. Oh, by the way, they want that car sitting there just in case they want to go somewhere.
That's right. Yeah, that also, right? That's so. Shout out to my father-in-law Red for his Corvette that's sitting inside of his garage under a cover. So, love you. So, perspective. Labor rates, the impact, the morale of the technician, clearly. If the man is, or the woman, your technician is making money, shop culture's clearly involved, long-term business sustainability clearly involved, long-term employee is clearly involved.
Absolutely.
Does the impact of clearly the impact of the labor rate now changes? Like the more money that you're charging, the more money that the guy can get. The guy that's coming into your shop, the guy that's experienced, right? We don't have to talk, actual dollars and cents, but there's a specific number that's here, right? And everybody's on the internet's throwing out, on YouTube and Facebook and Reels and so on and so forth. They're like, it used to be that you could start a guy at $20 an hour, but $20 an hour you can flip burgers.
Yeah.
Right now, I got a statement here that I'm going to make. I don't want to flip burgers for $20 an hour. I don't care if you pay me $20 an hour to flip burgers. I'm not doing it for $20, and I'll tell you why. Because it's boring. I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in that, right? There are people that are interested in doing that, and guess what? Those guys aren't going to come to work for you because they don't want to do transmissions. That's too hard for them. Okay, so pay attention when we talk about this scenario, because the guys that are in your shop are curious about fixing cars.
Exactly.
Curiosity is a key element here. Also, are you competitive? Do you want to win? Because anybody out there in the stratosphere, in the world, in this planet that we live in, you can't tell me that there's one guy that's in an automotive shop that doesn't like to win.
Absolutely.
You can't tell me that.
I've got, take for instance at A1, we've got technicians that have been with us 16 years, 17 maybe, I forget now, 20 years, 28 years. You know what? When you start talking about taking care of your employees, how are you going to pay them? Mm-hmm. That money has to come from what you charge for the work you do.
Right.
There's a labor rate that is used, and I say a rate. Mm-hmm. I guess there's a calculation that's used.
Yep.
To a certain percentage of your labor has to be designated as technician money. And back in the day, that calculation was 17% of your labor, or rather 17% of your sale price. In other words, gross revenue was designed to be the technician's money, not just the labor, but of the gross revenue, parts and labor. 17% of your gross sales went to the technician. Today,
so that means, just for the example portion, if the price of the repair was $1,000, he made $170.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Today, that number has changed dramatically because the technicians need to be more qualified. You have to maintain a continuing education for them. Mm-hmm. They got to have insurance. They got to have a 401k. They want everything that everybody else in other industries get. They don't want to be, and I don't misinterpret when I say grease monkey, but they don't want to be a mechanic.
Right.
They want to be an automotive technician, and that's a title that designates more money.
Yeah.
And so that's what they want to be. And so when you take in that equation now is more like 27% of gross sales winds up being the technician money instead of 17%. And then there's a few other little tuckies that go in there. But at the end of the day, 27% of your gross sales needs to be going to the technicians. That will give them nice money. That will give them, I'm going to elaborate just a second.
Yeah.
Bear with me here.
No, plenty of time. We got all day, man.
Okay, good. The Department of Labor has a program out there that they have a set of guidelines for how much apprentices need to be paid. And it's a graduating scale as they continue on in their apprentice program. NAPA Auto Training came up with an agreement with the Department of Labor, and they have an apprentice training program. It's a very good program. I just had one of my guys just graduate. He's going to get all his certificates and plaque, and we're going to have a big hoopla when all this stuff comes in. It'll be another couple of 3 weeks before everything comes in. He went through that 2-year program with NAPA. He got a free set of tools while he was going through the program.
Nice.
He winds up with his guaranteed pay and his, I'm going to call it commission, but his flat rate money, because at A1, we believe that you don't need to worry about money. You need to worry about fixing the car right. And so if your focus is on money, trying to get done in a hurry to gather that billable time because you're getting whatever that billable hour money is, and it's not focused on fixing the car right, then you're going to wind up costing the company money. So if you don't have to worry about money, you have a guaranteed salary, or we're going to call it a guaranteed salary, and you get money for every job you do as well as a commission, a certain amount of billable time money. That totals up on this particular program that we're with the Department of Labor. When a technician graduates from that, he's making a combined $40 an hour. Okay, now you can get technicians to work for you at $40 an hour. You can't get them at $20 an hour.
Yeah, not the right one.
Not the right one, exactly. Technicians today, they should be making, I got to tell you, I mean, this may scare a lot of shop owners.
It's okay.
But at the end of the day, if your technicians are not pushing $100K a year in pay, you're not running the business right. That's all there is to it. So a journeyman technician that's been with you for a few years, that has moved up through the ranks, needs to be making in the neighborhood of between $80,000 and $100,000 a year. Now, if you can offer that kind of money to a technician and give them the opportunity to even make more based on performance, everything's based on performance, based on productivity, based on the profit of the company. If you can promote that type of an atmosphere, now what you're doing is you're promoting success for your employees. And employees' morale goes through the roof when you promote their success.
Sure.
So
yeah, they become a straight owner.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that too, I think, is, and I remember, you know, this is going back a long time ago, but it was instilled into me then that, you know, when a customer had a problem with the vehicle, the service writer didn't go for the test drive. I did. As the technician, I did. When you know, somebody had a problem, you know, they told the service writer what it, oh, hang on for a second. Then they called the technician. The technician then would get in the car and go drive with them, right? So it required us to kind of start to become more involved with the customer, all right? I remember, and I'm just going to divert here for just a second and digress, but the Ford Windstar, you know, this was going back a long ways, right? Yeah. But the Ford Windstar, this lady had just bought it, right? The thing had 2,000 miles on it, maybe 3. And I worked for OI Ford. She lived in Thousand Oaks. We're talking 45 minutes to an hour, you know, drive, right? Why she came to Ohio to buy it, I have no idea. She could have bought it in any other Ford dealership that was between. There was, I think, there were 4 of them, so figure out which one you want to go to. But nonetheless, there was a massive grade called the Conejo grade, and it was kind of like your grade going up to Kerrville, right, from out of San Antonio.
Right.
Start going up. It's pretty long, you know, 6% climb, you know. And she said, well, there's 2 problems with my vehicle. The first problem is I'm not getting the fuel mileage I thought I was going to get. You know, it just sounds loud, and it's just like it's just slipping. And then every time I go up a hill, I have no power. And so she said, I've been to 2 other dealerships, and they haven't figured it out, and I don't know what's going on. And so I came up here because at the time I was one of the only guys that was certified in the transmission world for warranties, right? Because back then Ford required you to be certified before you got paid to do any warranty action. So I go for a drive. Sure, let's go. And so we're driving. Everything's fine, man. I'm like, okay, ma'am, I don't know. She goes, well, it only happens when I go up the Conejo grade. And I was like, well, let's go for a drive, you know? And so we drove, and we left, and we went down the hill, and we're on the freeway, and we're going, and I'm like, ma'am? She goes, yeah. I said, is there any reason why you don't want to have your overdrive working for you today? She goes, what? I said, well, you got the overdrive turned off, you know, so you're only got 3 speeds right now. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, well, and I hit the button, it's all boo. and it goes in the overdrive, and then converter comes on. She's like, oh my goodness, wow, okay, all right. So is that light supposed to be off? I said, yeah. When you start the car, it's supposed to be off at all times. Oh, okay. And so so we get ready to go up the Caneo grade, and sure enough, it bogs. It's just dying. And she's barely into it, by the way. She's like, she's not cruise control. She's just barely into it. And, and she says, oh, see, it's bogging down. I said, well, it's normal. That's because, you got torque. If you want to change that, you hit the button. She goes, oh, I thought I was supposed to have the light off when I went up the hill and on when I was driving, so it was opposite, right?
Right.
And to that point, and literally going back to the conversation we were having earlier, knowing how to express that to your customer now and how things work and operate is just as important, because of the knowledge that you have, is just as important as selling the job in the first place. I mean, at the end of the day, if they're confident in what you're doing, they'll come back to you, and they'll be customers for life.
And just like you mentioned with this lady and the problem she was having going up the Cajal grade, we have customers that will come in and explain to us what their car's doing, and we have a service writer that said was okay. He jots it all down, and so then the customer leaves, and I go and I ask a question. I said, well, what'd they say? What's going on with this car? I test drove it and I can't find the problem. And so the service writer will tell me what they said. And I said, well, did they say anything about this or that? And he said, well, no. I said, well, did you ask? He said, well, no. I said, well, you got to ask those questions. I said, so I came up with a new program after going through this for a while with these issues with communication with the customer. And so what we do now is that when they come in, if they've got something that could be misdiagnosed because we don't understand what it's doing, then our shop manager will actually get in the car, not the service writer, but the shop manager will get in the car and go for a ride with the customer. Show me what it's doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, at that particular time, that is then turned over to a technician. The technician has explained what the customer's concern is. The technician goes and drives it.
Yep.
And sometimes with the shop manager, so it can be explained again to the technician what he's trying to find.
So they can technical talk, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when the job is finished, the technician drives it again, and the final test drive at our shop is done by the shop manager. He drives every car before and after we work on it to make sure that the problem is fixed. And then he can communicate to the customer. So this is a good thing about keeping an open line of communication with the customer. That's part of the value that you're trying to sell.
That's huge.
It's very huge.
Yeah, that's huge. So, Kerrville, what's the size of the city?
Oh, well, let's see.
You're in Kerr County.
It's in Kerr
pretty good sized county.
It's a good sized county that incorporates, that's right next to Gillespie County, Kendall, Kimball, Bandera, Medina. Anyway, there's a lot of counties involved that are just right next to I guess our customer base is in excess of 100,000. Kerrville metropolitan is 25,000 people. And that's our day-to-day business.
I was going to say, but it's also kind of spread out.
It's spread out, yes.
It's not real condensed. It's not like downtown.
No, it's not like downtown. From one side of Kerrville to the other is probably, I'm going to say 6 or 7 miles across town. Mm-hmm. From east to west, from north to south, Kerrville is about 3 miles. So it's a strip that's 3 miles tall, and about 6 or 7 miles wide. That is Kerrville metropolitan.
Yeah. So for those of you that are not familiar with Kerrville, Texas, I'm going to give you something really cool about Ed and A+1 transmission specialist. They happen to be located on Gasoline Alley. That is what's your address?
117.
117 Gasoline Alley. That's cool. I just love that, because I remember the first time I typed it in when I was coming to see, I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. This is great. We've talked a lot about labor. You broke down some really good stuff here about this. We're going to get into a little bit past section 3 there, and talk about doing it right. Right.
Okay.
I've got something on my board upstairs that says, we don't do things the easy way, we do it the right way, right? That's to me, it's important, right?
Exactly.
We try to do things the right way, the best that we can. What does that mean to you in your shop?
Well, Lance, doing things right means that you got to put your best foot forward. You cannot do anything halfway. It's got to be done right the first time. To do it right the first time, guess what? You have to have experience. You have to have education. You have to have access to all the information. Now, I'm not talking about Google, but I'm talking about all the technical information that you can get from the manufacturers, from ATRA, from
ATSG, from Superior, from Sonex, from you name it.
All of these
TRNW, the Transmission Brotherhood is
all of
many.
These people all of these entities have to be your partner. It's about building relationships. It's about partnering up to be successful. I call it partnership for success. That's what I call it. You have to constantly promote training. And the one thing that I like to say, I have a little slogan when a technician comes up to me and tells me, well, I think. I do not like the word I think, or the phrase I think. I believe test, don't guess.
Okay.
Test, and then prove your test. And then come tell me what's wrong. And if you can't do that, then go back and start over.
Yep. So then they come to you and say, it is this problem.
Exactly.
This is what I found.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the service writer can say, now, Joe, what parts do you want me to order so you can correct this problem?
Yeah.
What do I need to sell the customer?
For now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that always changes once you open her up.
Absolutely.
A few things here and there.
Yeah.
And there.
Exactly.
So ATRA is clearly the only trade association in the world that we do this for the transmission industry. The industry growth. You've been part of the ATRA family for a very, very long time. How have you seen the association evolve, and what do you think is the most significant impact that has been in or on this industry so far?
Well, from a group of guys having conversation on sharing repair information. I mean, ATRA is a 60-plus year.
70 plus years.
70 now, okay.
Yeah.
Well, time flies.
Time flies when you're having a good time. That's right.
70-plus year trade association. They've moved into the digital world. Back in the day, it was a group of guys getting together, having conversations, sharing information. ATRA, in my opinion, is a relationship, a partnership. Once again, a partnership for success. If you are associated with ATRA, they are your partner, and they will do what they can to bring the information, whether it be business information, in other words, management information, whether it be training, because training is, once again, paramount. I cannot express how important training is. And ATRA, in my opinion, has the best training modules, whether it be through the VTS program that you guys have, or whether it be through the local seminars that you do, or whether it be through the annual Powertrain Expo that you provide for all your members and non-members to attend to gather that information.
With the transition from California to Texas, you were paramount in that. Going to kind of get off script here a little bit, but
Okay.
The opportunities that have been afforded to us moving here to Texas have been great. We have a wonderful facility. It's not easy to move or turn a giant boat around, right?
Oh, gosh.
It takes time, right?
It does.
You know, and so we're in a pretty good spot here. We just had our expo at the Marriott downtown at the River Center. Very successful. Had lots of people there, lots of people talking. I'm going to throw a pitch here. It was on Labor Day weekend, so just shortly after that. And so there was a lot of shops that were not coming because of that. One, there was a lot of shops that were complaining that it was, well, we just had Monday off, and now you want us to travel on Wednesday. And we work 4-day weeks, so some shops are working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then they're off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, I got some good news. We moved the date, so so there's no more Labor Day excuses, boys and girls. We moved the date. It's going to be the end of August, so a full 100% full week in front of, or week and a half, if you will, in front of Labor Day. So it's August 25th through the 30th. Hot Expo nights. I'd like to throw my pitch out there. Nobody likes that, but I do. So I'm going to pitch. I don't know if you've ever been to Hot August nights in Reno, Nevada, but they have a huge car show that's out there. So
yeah, put your flip flops on, wear your shorts,
That's
put your
right.
tank top shirt on,
Yeah.
and grab your double barrel beer hat
and get to work.
and get down the river.
Yeah, that's right. So, looking ahead to our next generation, Ed, and I know you're a coach, you're a mentor. I've mentored a lot of guys, a lot of people in my lifetime. Being a football coach, 25 plus years, I've had that opportunity to do that. The one thing that I think I'm gonna take that word back because I know you don't like the word I think. So the one thing I know, I do know this, right? That every individual is different, right? So we're on section 5 there for you. Okay. Every person that you've mentored is different. They're not the same. So every employee you have is different. They're not the same. They're similar in some nature, some form, some way. What's your advice for the next generation about professionalism, pricing, pride in their craft? How do you instill things like that?
You know, that's a fine line that you're going to walk down, because you don't want people to think that. Let's see, I'd like to put this. You want people to believe you believe in them, and so you don't want to be critical of maybe their way of thinking, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Professionalism is paramount. Okay, you have to preach professionalism, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make the money for you, by being a professional. You cannot be a fly by night.
Got it.
There's too many of those running around. You have to continue to build relationships. Now, those relationships are what I call partnering for success. Once again, with your vendors, that's a relationship. With your customers, that's a relationship. With your employees, that's a relationship. You have to be married to the business, and that is a relationship. If you keep that in mind, you're going to build employees that take pride in the work that they do. They're going to want to participate in your training programs that you provide for them. As a shop owner, you have to promote training. You have to promote professionalism. You actually have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. You cannot expect them to pay for it. If you want them to be successful, you got to pay for their success. They will be rewarded by donating their time to be successful. And if you'll do that, they will do for you. And so if you want those younger people to come into the industry, you need to be willing to pay for a fair wage. And I'm not talking $20 an hour.
Right.
You need to be able to pay for their training, and you need to be able to pay for some fun time, some camaraderie time for them to learn things from other people in the industry just through open conversation. It's the same way that ATRA was started, through open conversation through a group of 5 or 6 guys a long time ago.
Yeah. Don mentioned something about like at his shop, like he'll pay for tools as well.
Yep.
Right. That's another part of it, right? So if they don't have to pay, they don't have to go onto the tool truck and pop, $1,500 for something. You're like, oh, I'll take care of that for you.
Right. We at A1, we buy all the big tools.
Yeah.
We don't. You know what? I have preached for several years now that I think every technician ought to own their own scan tool.
Yeah.
However, I know that's a lot of money, and keeping up with the updates to the scan tool on an annual basis is pretty expensive. The Snap-on deal is like $90 a month to keep it updated.
Yeah, sure is.
So that's a lot of money. Of course, you go out and buy the scan tool. It's, I don't know, $3,500 or $4,000, whatever it is. The Autel is about the same difference as far as price and programming updates. I own, for the shop there, I have 4 scan tools in the shop. I got 2 different Snap-ons. One's a D10 Triton. The other one is a Verus or
Versus?
A Versus, yeah. A Triton and a Versus. And then we have an Autel. I forget what grade it is. And then we also have a second Autel. But at the end of the day, I have 4 scan tools for my technicians, so they all have a scan tool without having to buy one. They buy all their smaller stuff. Like I said, my apprentice that just graduated, he got a set of tools to start working with while he was going through the apprentice program. And every now and then there'll be a sale that comes up at one of the local vendors in town that's selling tools, and I'll go out and I'll participate in the sale, and I'll buy some tools. And so I have bought tools for these guys. I bought a complete set of impacts, battery-powered impacts and drills, all by Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I've got an array. I've got a whole cabinet full of them.
Nice.
And you guys need to use these impacts and these drills, and go get them.
I think I'm just going to speak on a personal level, but I know I'm 55, and I know guys in my age group. We didn't work with electric stuff. My right ear rings like nobody's business, man. That thing will keep me up at night. I got to get it fixed. And when you talk about insurance, you got to have insurance to go fix that, right?
That's right.
So there are things, back injuries, ear injuries, body aches, you name it.
Right.
It comes with the job, right? But our industry has evolved, right? We've changed things. So by doing, the battery powered impacts, huge, massive, no more compressor running, no more barking of the, I can still remember every time that stinking compressor kicked off, it was, the belt would squeak, and it'd be cranking for another 30 minutes, and you're just stuck in the hole, man, listening to it. So so if you're making the shop environment better, more user friendly, right?
Right.
The young technician that comes in sees that and says, "Man, this is a nice looking shop. They've got all the cool little tools. They've got all the fun tools. They've got all the toys, if you will, right? And this looks like a great place to work." So. 10 years from now, I know we're talking 10 years, right? Transmissions are still going to be around. Everybody loves the 4L60. I mean, hell, that thing, you can't kill it. You can't kill it, But 10 years from now, what's going to make the difference? If you're going to say something today, I know that you can't predict the future, but if you were going to say what's going to separate the ones that are going to thrive as opposed to the ones that are just surviving?
Okay, that particular question consists of several different things. Mm-hmm. First of all, like we talked in the past, we're talking about relationships. Yeah. You have to build relationships with your customers and with everybody you deal with. So I won't reiterate that. Customer service, if you're going to be in the business, you've got to have customer service that's second to none. Now, what does customer service look like? Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know. Well, I fixed your car and you paid me. Wasn't that enough? Well, no, that's not enough. How about taking the car and go getting it washed? Yeah. After they spent $6,000, $7,000, whatever, fixing it. Yeah. How about making sure you take care of the car by keeping a floor mat in it?
Or a tank fill, exactly.
I mean, you need to test drive the vehicle, and you're going to do a shift adapts relearn, and you're going to drive it through several different drive cycles, and you burn up $20 worth of gas. So why don't you go put some gas in it?
Yeah, that's nothing like getting a vehicle from a customer that says, I got an intermittent problem, and they got less than a quarter tank of gas. Here you go.
Yeah. And that goes back to fair pricing. Yeah. You have to have a fair price. Now, fair pricing means it's got to be fair for you, and it's got to be fair for the customer. You have to make money because you have to pay the technicians. You have to have insurance for them and for your facility, et cetera, et cetera. You have to be able to buy tools and equipment. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to be there when they have a problem next week, next year, 10 years from now, whatever the case may be. If you're going to be in the longevity business, then you got to charge accordingly.
You also got shop equipment. You also got shop maintenance.
Yeah,
you also have,
exactly.
Just furniture.
All these management classes that you go to, or some of them have been sponsored by ATRA, mm-hmm. and some of them were really good. Some of them were okay, but they all talk about pricing. Yeah. Every one of them talks about pricing and the expense that an owner has in maintaining a quality shop. Every one of them talk about it. Yeah. And you've got to figure out what that equation looks like. And so you have to figure out, to start the equation off, you have to figure out how much money does Ed need? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you are the one that's most liable for everything, right?
Exactly. How much money does Ed need?
All right.
Okay. Now, how much money does it take to have a technician? I'm not talking about a D technician. I'm talking about how much money does it take to have an A technician? Because you want all your technicians to be A technicians. Yeah. And so, and when that expense that goes to A technicians means commissions, insurance, paid time off, 401k, blah, 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 down the line. Once you have all those numbers, there is a magic number. Oh, by the way, expansion and growth. There's a number for that. Yeah. That's got to be calculated into your pricing. Yep. All your economists say you have to cut your costs to be profitable. I disagree. You have to compute your cost to be profitable.
Yeah.
And that would be my suggestion. Get you a spreadsheet or get you a piece of paper. You know, when I was first figuring this stuff out, I had a cup of coffee and a paper napkin and my pen. Yep. And I looked at one of my guys and I said, by the way, this is not his name. It was just a line that I used when I wanted to address somebody when I was having a thought process. And we're sitting down having a coffee, and I was with one of my shop guys. I think it was one of my service writers from years back. And I said, Peter, and he looked at me. That's not my name. I know. I said, here's what we need to do. And I started jotting this stuff down on a napkin. And I said, this is what it's costing us. I said, that number you're charging is not going to make a profit. I laid the napkin down and said, fix it. I turned around and walked off. Guess what? He fixed it.
Yeah.
But you have to know what that number is. If you don't know what that number is, you can't just pick an arbitrary price out of the sky because Joe Blow down the street charges this much money.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. Say Joe charges 150 and you charge 125 because you just drew that number out of the sky. Joe probably figured out 150 based on his actual cost.
Right.
And you want to be cheaper than him. I say no. You don't want to be cheaper than anybody. You want to be fair.
Yeah.
And it's all about being fair, and it's a two-way street, and it has to be a win-win.
Yep. That's perfect advice. Question for you. How you mentioned in that comment, how much does Ed need, right? Mm-hmm. And then I need to find an A technician, right? What's your process of quantifying or qualifying, I should say, an A technician? And the reason why I'm going to bring this up is because there's 987,000 technicians out in the United States currently, right now, based on the last report that just came out.
Well, dang, you'd think we could find one.
Yeah, right. Now these are quote unquote, they're automotive technicians. So they're the way that they were qualified through the Bureau and through the census was they have tools and they work in a shop, in some automotive shop, whether it's tires, oil change, general repair, specialties, whatever.
Right.
And the reason why I brought this up, I've had conversations with shops where they have a technician that is cancer. He's not the guy, right? He's not friendly to be around. He was just not coachable, right? And I use this word a lot too, as a coach. If you're not coachable, I can't coach you. That's what I say. I just stop coaching you. I just no reason to talk to you any longer. Finding that A technician, right? They have to qualify in some way, shape, or form. They have to have certifications. You mentioned that earlier.
Right.
They have to have tools. You mentioned that earlier. They have to have quality tools. You mentioned that earlier. They have to have professional. They ought to look professional. You mentioned that also. Their appearance, how they talk to you, all those things matter, right?
Exactly.
They do. Okay. So going back to that same comment of, flipping burgers for $20 an hour, there's a difference, right, between the A technician and the burger flipper, right, if you will. And there's no disrespect to the burger flipper. My son flips burgers and he likes it. He's going to open up his own burger flipping thing. So
there you go.
It's really cool, right?
Make money flipping burgers.
That's right.
On the burger.
Yeah, I told him on the weekends I can come cook my briskets for him. So we'll see how it goes. But to that point is there is a sense of professionalism when people walk through your door and they're looking. And if you're a help wanted, right? What do you look for? So you need a technician, and I'm not saying you need a technician, but I'm saying hypothetically you need a technician, and Joe's going to walk up and knock on your door, and what's the eyesight? What's the eye test?
The eye test is I guess you as I used to say back in the day, does that person present appeal when you see them?
Curb appeal.
Or curb appeal.
Yeah, right.
In other words, the first impression. I look at the first impression, but I'm not always correct, okay? But at least that is a place to start. So you want the appearance to be something that customers are not going to be afraid of.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
That appearance has to not necessarily blow you away, but it has to at least be appealing.
Yeah.
In some form or fashion. Everybody's mama loves them.
That's right.
Okay, so it can't
Right.
be that guy.
Yeah. But there's something to be said about that too, because I mean, so again, just going back to things that have happened to me personally, right? Is when we first started hiring people here, it was like, oh, I don't want to talk to him. He's a big, scary dude. And I'm like, man, I'm not big, but I'm not. I'm hope I'm not scary. I know. I mean, geez, but that when you have the eye test, they look at you. Well, look, I'm pretty focused most days. I mean, I'm moving. I'm hauling butt around here as much as I can, and I may not smile all the time. I may not, say, hey, how you doing all the time. I pass you and be, oh, what's up, or something like that. But I want to win, right? I'm competitive, and I'm moving in that direction. So when I see other technicians, they're similar. You see them, you know who they are.
Exactly.
And as a person that's been in the industry for a long time, and also been an A technician, and also been an A mentor, and also been on the board of directors, and also been on chapter presidents, and a successful owner for 40 plus years, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
going on 48 now.
Yeah. You have an eyeball, right? You have an eyeball for that technician.
Right.
You know what they look like, right? Mm-hmm. So the point that I'm making here is for the ones that are coming up into the industry, right? The younger guys or the business guys. Uh-huh. The advice is look for the guy that's confident. Look for the guy that shines professionalism, that's bringing you professionalism, that says, give me an opportunity and you won't be sorry.
Exactly.
That's the guy we're looking for.
That's the guy you're looking for, because anybody that, and I'm not talking about being arrogant. You have technicians out there that are really good technicians and they're arrogant.
Yeah.
And there's a place for them. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And there can be a place for them in my shop as well.
Yeah.
But you're looking for that professionalism. You're looking for that guy that's confident. And you're looking for the guy that says, I won't let you down. I appreciate it if you'll give me a chance, and I'll prove to you that I am who I say I am.
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So finally, Ed, this is the What's Working edition. So I got to ask you, what's working at A+1 Transmissions right now, and what's keeping you motivated, your team engaged, and your customers coming back?
Well, I think I personally have a lot to do with that.
Good. And that's not arrogance, that's confidence, by the way.
That is confidence. Everything that we do, everything that we've talked about, today.
Yeah.
And this has been I really appreciate you inviting me down to visit with you on these topics. But everything that we've talked about today, that's actually what's working at A1. We have a slogan, and I've had this slogan for years. ATRA has a slogan. I have a slogan. My slogan is, we're here to help. That keeps me motivated, knowing that that's what my job is. I'm here to help. And so when I tell you we're here to help, I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about myself, my wife, my entire staff, my vendors that I do business with because of all the relationships that I've built, ATRA because of what they bring to the table that partners up with my business. We're here to help. That keeps me motivated. That keeps bringing customers back because I convey that message anytime I talk to customers. When we start talking about our 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, and we talk about where that originated from. It started back in the day of the Golden Rule warranty with ATRA. Yeah. And it's all about knowing your worth and knowing the value of warranty and the peace of mind that it gives a customer. And that's what brings them back. That's what keeps me motivated because I enjoy visiting with my customers. I will sit down in the front waiting room with customers numerous times a day. Somebody's there waiting to pick up their car. I'll go sit down, I'll visit with them, and I continue to build a relationship with that customer.
Yeah.
Even after the money's over with, because you want them to come back.
Yeah.
And that's what brings them back, because you took time to be personal with them. You built a relationship and you were personal. You didn't treat them as a number. If you're nothing more than a number, those people aren't going to come back, because anybody can treat them like a number.
Yeah, they don't care about you.
You know what? If you have a customer that lives in Cypress, Texas, which is down by Houston, and he's been on a 3,000-mile trip and his vehicle broke in Kerrville, Texas.
Yep.
He needs a rent car. But the rent car in Kerrville is not big enough to haul 7 people and their luggage back to Houston.
Yep.
And you can't get them out today because they have a major transmission problem. So what do? You drive them to Bernie or San Antonio to a bigger rental agency. You get them the vehicle they need to get them home. You build that relationship. You haven't made a dime yet.
Yeah.
But you're working on what you're fixing to sell that customer based on the relationship that you're starting to build now before you ever take a dime out of their pocket. And that's what it's all about: customer service, building relationships, and promoting I care.
Investing in their
You're investing in the future
customer
of
and
your customer.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
We're here to help.
That's right. You are. And so I'm going to give you a few minutes to pitch. So you volunteer at some places. I know that.
Yes.
I know that you've got one of your volunteer locations is the Turtle Creek Fire Department.
That's
volunteer
correct.
Fire Department.
Yes.
And you got something coming up in December sometime?
Yeah, this is pretty special. Kerrville was devastated by the July 4th flood, and we were all out of pocket trying to recover from that. We was out doing rescue and recovery. Mind you, I've been a member of the Turtle Creek Volunteer Fire Department for over 50 years, and that's another portion of my life that is a relationship that I've built. I've been the treasurer for the Turtle Creek Volunteer Fire Department since 1988. Okay. I have done things to fund them personally out of my pocket. I've worked on growing their net worth. I've helped them buy new trucks and things of that nature by going down and securing a loan at the bank, because the fire department is a donation type entity, and so it doesn't have any revenue that you can bank on, so to speak. So I use my credit to promote the fire department to get the equipment and things that we need. We are doing a fundraiser right now. We got off to a little bit of a slow start because of the July 4th flood. Yep. But we're giving away a 2025 Kawasaki Mule and a trailer to transport it on to get it from point A to point B.
That's a 4-seater, right?
That's a yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's called a side-by-side.
Side-by-side, yeah.
Is what they call it. Anyway,
Yep.
yeah, but it'll seat 4 people.
Yep.
Anyway, and it's and we've got about 14. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what we got, but we got 14 pew-pews. Okay, so yeah. I don't want to get it censored.
We'll say 14 different
hole punchers.
Okay, sure. 14 different opportunities for other gifts. How's that?
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
And once those items have been given away, the ticket that you bought for the Kawasaki Mule goes back into the hopper, and everybody gets a chance at the 2025 Kawasaki Mule with the trailer.
So you can win both. We can win all three.
You can win. Yeah, you can win multiple items.
Nice.
We're going to have a bucket drawing as well. One of the buckets will have a nice Heritage revolver in it. Nice. That you can buy some little tickets for that. That'll be extra. We're going to have a barbecue. Nice. That you can come out and have some nice barbecue dinner with us. This is going to happen on December the 20th, I think at noon at the fire station.
Yep.
There on Upper Turtle Creek Road out south of Kerrville. It's going to be a big event. It's been successful. We did this last year. This year we promoted it and we've pushed a lot harder. It's going to be a great success. We just need everybody We need a lot of people to participate. Once again, the fire department is building relationships with the community.
Yep.
And that's what we do. We're in Kerrville, I think, after the flood, they came out with a little slogan called Hill Country Strong, Kerrville Strong, Hunt Strong. You know, at the end of the day, we are community strong is what we are.
Yeah.
And so, yes, if you would like to be a part of our annual fundraiser barbecue, it's December the 20th at 290 Upper Turtle Creek Road, Kerrville, Texas. The tickets are $100 a piece, 6 for $500, a dozen for $1,000. You do the math. As many tickets as you'd like to buy until we're out.
And they can get a hold of you?
And they can get a hold of me at 830-739-2514. They can go to turtlecreekcur.org, purchase tickets on our website, or make donations on our website. All of that we're glad to accept on behalf of the Turtle Creek Volunteer Fire Department.
Great. Yeah, we'll post that on our social media sites.
Great. Thank you, Lance.
This week. Yeah, you got it. No problem. You can expect me to be there. I will be there.
Oh, good. And so, you'll enjoy the barbecue.
Yeah.
Kelly, and I hope you win.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Kelly and I will be there. Plan on bringing a couple of the boys. They should become firefighters. Actually, they like the idea of doing it. And we all when they were working down here, they had an opportunity to volunteer for China Grove. So
okay. Do you have a?
And it only came because we were actually doing a burn in the backyard and we didn't call for a permit. So, and then next thing you know, they showed up. I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing here? And my son Will, I said, hey, send him out there, see what's going on. And they're like, hey, man, you didn't get a permit for this. All I got to do is text Mike and he'll give you a number for it. And so we had everything we needed. It wasn't no big deal. But they hung around, they stayed around, they hung out. So it was really cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah, China Grove has a really good fire department. I met their chief, Mike. Mike. Yeah, when we were trying to get approval to purchase this place, but 4 years ago, I guess now.
Yep.
And it was he was very, very nice, knowledgeable individual. His wife Kathy, that works at the City Hall permits.
She's the permits people.
Yeah, she's a permits girl. And when they say all you need is a permit, well, guess what? You need a permit.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah, don't anybody ever tell you don't need a permit to get things done. It's a true statement. So, Ed, it's been great having you here. Really appreciate it. And for everyone listening, remember when we stand together, we change, we get responsibility, we take pride in our craft, and we elevate the industry. Until next time, let's keep learning, keep leading, and remember to always have a great day of fixing transmissions. So let's keep fixing transmissions together. Thanks, Ed.
Absolutely. You're quite welcome, Lance, and hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns. That's right.